Jim, thank you so much for spending some time with us today and helping us make this Public Policy Day coverage happen.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
I like how you dressed up. Tell us a little bit about your bow tie.
This particular bow tie.
It's beautiful.
It's important to me, and I wear it because we're in Washington, D.C. today. And this bow tie is the handwritten notes of Ronald Reagan's Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall speech.
Amazing.
So it's a good-looking tie. It goes with what I'm wearing, and I can be a subversive conservative Republican inside of enemy territory. How great is that?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about Mosaic. What does Mosaic do?
Oh, Mosaic exists to keep car dealers out of trouble.
And they like to get in trouble.
They
don't like it,
but they're good at it.
They're great at it.
But what we do, to be crass, what we do is we manufacture admissible evidence to insulate car dealers from class action lawsuits and punitive damages.
Yeah,
and
put
we
that
are
on the homepage.
and we're good at it. But put less cynically, is we understand that buying or leasing a car in the United States is one of the most heavily regulated activities on Earth.
Right.
It is only slightly less regulated than building a nuclear power plant.
Are you kidding
in the
me?
wetlands on top of a manatee eating a bald eagle in Al Gore's backyard. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Well, the production crew is Nathan, our producer, is back there losing himself.
Just lost. It's great.
He's got the ears in.
So I know I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Nathan just blew out a hemorrhoid, so I know I'm getting somewhere. How can dealers follow laws they don't even know exist? And the answer is they can't. So what we do at our core competency is we draft policy documents and online web-based training that educates dealers, transfers knowledge so that they can change behavior and treat people like they're more than commodities.
Yeah.
So they can love people
they
more
can-
than cars.
They can do
about
the things
that?
that they're best at.
Right.
Well, right, and be given the tools and resources to do that. But you do some stuff in the background too with some of the biggest providers that dealers are utilizing, so that the dealers are protected by the relationships that they have too, right?
That is correct. Our original distribution model was agent-based, and it really didn't work because we were trying to make our services as cheap as possible so that dealers would buy them. But if you do that, there's not enough room for a commission that would get agents interested in it.
Right, get them excited about offering it.
So what we do is we typically partner with TPAs, product providers and administrators, and we private label our services so that they generally will offer a core of compliance services that surrounds the F&I box, because they do have I would say, a moral obligation to make sure that their products are sold in a legally compliant manner. So they protect the F&I box, but we want to grow beyond that and protect the entire dealership.
Yeah.
For example, the most common complaint against car dealers is anecdotally sexual harassment.
Wow.
Doesn't help you to only train 4 F&I managers on sexual harassment prevention. It has to be everybody. And the CARS rule is going to implicate a lot of the dealership.
Big topic of conversation.
We'll get there. But so those are some of the things we do for our channel partners. And we've been very busy because NADA is only 2 weeks away as we film this.
Yeah.
And all of them want to have a CARS rule response ready, and we've literally been working overtime.
Well, let's dive
for a
into
month.
that. Then let's just take the path right into that. So the CARS rule has come out. It's going to be in effect very shortly. We expect a lot of conversation at NADA. There's definitely some conversation about amongst the people that are at this event today. How would you most simply say to a dealer, this is what you need to be doing right now?
Not simple.
Lowest common denominator. We're teaching in the back of the class here.
LCD, yeah.
The lowest common denominator is find out what it means. The rumor mill is churning in overtime.
Absolutely.
And there's an awful lot in the secondary press, and some of which I've written and continue to write. But it's a very complex topic. In the 2 days prior to right now, I was in Kentucky doing 2 one-hour seminars on the CARS rule, and it was Reader's Digest version. We're working with Bob at Business Media to put on a one-day symposium in Las Vegas, April 18th. That is going to be 8 hours of content, and none of it is going to be dead air, and none of it is going to be superfluous. It's a very complicated rule. It doesn't just impact the dealers, doesn't just impact how they sell. For example, forgive the monologue, but one of the things that they have to wrap their minds around is this concept of offering price. Today, dealers might advertise MSRP or special dealership price, but if you're not allowed under the CARS rule to add a penny for anything after that price, that offering price, unless it's government charges, tax tag, battery disposal fee, and so on. So if you have a dock fee that you tag on at the end, that is illegal.
Right.
If you
have to, you have to
price. Would you say
that.
offering price?
Offering price is the term of art.
Include all of that. So,
and that impacts everyone in store, everyone in marketing, all of the third-party providers that have to display that price. The disclosures alongside of that price that tells you what is included in that price.
Oh, it gets worse.
Everything.
What is the largest? What's the largest department by head count front of the store in most dealerships? Here I am asking you the questions. This is fun.
Yeah, I mean, typically service.
No, front of the house.
Oh, sales.
It's going to be sales. It's also
everybody's
got the highest.
saying lots of things all day long.
There you go. Well, those people have to be very well trained on the CARS rule. Why? Because that concept of offering price, the FTC says it has to be the first thing you say. It has to be in your very first communication with any customer right out of the box. So I'm not making this up. If you're on the showroom floor and you're looking at a beautiful Toyota Tundra and a customer comes up and says, "That's a beautiful truck. How much will it tow? What is its towing capacity?" You have to reply, "It costs $83,412. Your first communication, oral or in writing, online, has to include the offering price.
Has to include it, or
Yeah.
it has to be
It doesn't have to be the first
thing you say.
item, but it has to be your first communication.
Has to include that.
Has to include
and
that.
in the scenario
whether they
you
ask it,
just
whether they
mentioned,
care or not.
You're standing next to the vehicle. Would you say a Tundra?
Yeah, I picked
Right.
a Tundra.
So the Tundra says $64,957 on the sticker, but you can't say that number. You have to say the number with that plus anything else that is now bundled in with that vehicle.
No, because the number that's on the sticker,
It's the MSRP.
that you've just identified a problem. It has to be the offering price. Well, whoever made this rule, and we know who they are and where they live.
I think some of them are over
They
here
might
right
be.
now behind me.
Yeah, I'd pay the neighbor kid to start your car. So
You definitely lived here before.
there is a.
Absolutely.
They don't sell cars, and clearly
Yeah, the
whoever
complexity
they don't
around a car
understand
sale, yes.
the transaction or how business works. So the Monroney label, that sticker is going to come on the
car,
vehicle
every
from
time.
the OEM. But what if your offering price is higher than the MSRP?
For sure.
Well, okay, I've got this law that says I have to display the Monroney label, but the Monroney label is going to have certain information that conflicts with my offering price. What if your OEM requires you to advertise the MSRP? Well, that's illegal. That is
Right.
going to be a violation.
Unless you have zero additional fees or anything like that,
Unless
which is
you're-
very, very rare.
Unless
Right.
you're absolutely selling it for MSRP. What about rebates? The CARS rule, I think this piece is actually logical, and I'm not offended by this piece of it. You're not allowed to deduct from the offering price rebates unless they're available to everyone.
Yes.
And you can't stack them. You can't stack the first time.
And then be like, oh,
And
well,
then
that doesn't
the-
apply to you. You didn't serve in the military.
exactly.
You haven't come from
Yep.
a different manufacturer and all that.
And I think most
Very
dealers have
reasonable.
gotten used to that, but
Yep.
there's still a lot of bad actors that will kind of they'll put the price online and have 18 rebates all that don't stack together, and
Way
they
down
just
at the
sell that
bottom
low
is
price,
all
yeah.
that, unless
Sure.
Oh,
assuming
but
you're
way
this,
down
this,
at the
this,
bottom.
and that.
No.
No more
That's
of that.
illegal too. Fine print.
Yep.
Fine print is dead. I believe addendum stickers are dead.
I think I just
Well,
identified the T-shirts you need to hand out at your event. It
Fine
says
print is
fine
dead.
print is dead.
Yeah.
And really small.
Addendums
And really,
are dead.
and really
And
tiny.
really
and
small.
then really small. I really mean it.
Yeah.
That's good. Very
That's
good.
really good.
You could conceivably have an addendum sticker, but not if it adds any cost, and this gets really complicated. I'm not sure I know the answers yet, and I've been studying this virtually every day for a month. If one of the requirements of the CARS rule is that essentially we're going to have to see on our installment sale contract something like another TILA box, only bigger, because you're going to be required to tell people what is the cost of any what the FTC calls add-ons in a rather pejorative sense. Well, that add-on might be a very important gap waiver, which if you're in the certain circumstances, that is a very valuable thing to have, or a service contract. Well, if the service contract costs $2,000 today, you can say, hey, that costs $2,000. As of the 30th of July, you're going to say it costs $2,000, but you must also disclose how much it will cost
Taxes
you
related to that, financing
after you financed it for 72 months at 9.98%, that $2,000 service contract might wind up costing you $3,800. So you've got to disclose two prices.
That is crazy.
And you
Usually
never
the
have
finance
space for
contract,
that.
The technical mapping required to do that.
because everything is segmented right now. The financing is the financing. The price.
Well, because it's also like the DMS systems that own 80+% of the market currently today have fixed field systems, and so even just their ability to remove the fixed field system in order to populate those data points is an extremely complex.
No one thinks there's no one
Yeah.
in this room thinking about that or talking
Right.
about that whatsoever.
No one thought about that. Every menu that I've ever seen will be illegal on the 30th of July. Every DMS, and it's not that there's anything wrong with DMSs, but they are literally not yet programmed to facilitate compliance
handle that.
with it.
Absolutely.
So if the rule were in effect today, everyone's going to jail, or the FTC will
Everyone's
shoot the
getting a
lock off
letter.
everyone's wallet.
Yes.
It's tough.
That's a great. He just got them all day.
He said they'll shoot the lock off your
Okay.
wallet right there. Just put it on a shirt.
Well, what about the websites?
Oh, the websites are a big deal. Yeah. I mean,
You can avoid some of the advertising pitfalls by simply not advertising price. Have pictures of representative vehicles, say how many you have in stock, promote the value of your dealership, build interest in the brand, and not mention price.
Well,
That's
there's
fine.
this whole little segment that comes out by the 5th every month called offers, and the offer can't be we have cars for sale
yeah.
Well,
for you.
I'm a boomer.
Yeah.
That's why I wear a bow tie and have this many chins.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. And I love the way you set up the lights so the glare from my bald spot doesn't blind your viewers. So boomers like I still remember these things called newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
Print is not dead, but it's not healthy.
right.
Even I start my car buying journey online. I go to Furman.com and I want to take a look at what vehicles they have, and they have a little square for every vehicle in their inventory. Every one of those squares must have offering price attached to it. In other words, the CARS rule says that when you're offering a specific car, you must disclose the offering price in close proximity. And there can be no fine print, no disclaimers, no click here for the internet price.
Yep.
You
No
cannot-
call for price.
no
Nothing
call
like
for
that.
price.
Yep.
That's dead. No requiring consumers to give personal information, cell number.
Here's one.
cetera.
We could go all day for this. I'll go one more. But the interesting thing about OEMs is that dealers typically have historically, especially pre-pandemic, have offered prices below what we call MAP pricing, the manufacturer approved pricing. And if you do that, it is required by the manufacturer to have a one-to-one relationship with the customer, meaning that customer has to actually enter their information before they get that price from the dealer.
Can't advertise it. Yeah.
What
Right.
that means is that either no dealer will be able to price a vehicle at that price, or the OEM has to change their rules as far as what the dealer is allowed to price to the customer visibly before that time. It's a massive piece.
No,
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very insightful. But that makes you in the 99.9999 percentile of insight. People are just beginning to figure out what the rule says. Then they're going to figure out how does this impact me?
And all the
but the last
derivative
thing they're going to
things.
think about is how does it impact everybody else I touch? So, the companies that make the websites, the easiest thing in the world for e-commerce compliance is not to review the online ads of every dealer every day. That is incredibly time consuming and expensive. It's much easier to get the people who make the websites themselves to change the way they make their templates. No fine print, no click here for price. We can fix that at the top level and take that particular headache off the plate of the dealer. But there are other things at the dealership, such as mandatory training. I hate to tell you, we're in the training business. When the government passes a regulation that requires dealers to buy what I sell, I am conflicted.
Right.
So you don't hate to tell us that.
No. I mean, is it
understand
good?
what you're saying.
The safeguards rule.
Yes.
2 years ago, the safeguards rule was revised. Our top line revenue shot through the roof.
Yep.
This is much more impactful to dealers. And, I'm telling Melissa, she's shopping for Mercedes probably as we speak.
She's like, it's like that again.
There
You're
it
like,
No, I'm going to
there
come
it
home and they're
goes.
going to be digging for the pool in our backyard.
She already has. She actually already has a deposit on this Rolls Royce that they revealed behind
That
me
was
here.
a beautiful Rolls Royce, and I think she's signing death warrants for minks right now.
Yeah, right. Well, Jim, you've been more than fun. You are certainly a lot more than cars, not just in your approach to business, but also people. And we really thank you for helping us put on this today and joining us in this conversation.
I thank you very much for having me. This was fun.